Tonight, Broken Hill on high alert as fruit fly reaches the city. And a new respite centre for disabled people opens in Port Pirie.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Broken Hill is holding its breath, with testing underway to determine whether the Mediterranean fruit fly has reached the city. Authorities are currently containing an outbreak in Adelaide, as fears grow the pest may have spread interstate.
They're the small pest causing big concern. An increase in reported fruit fly cases in Broken Hill now under investigation.
A lot of fruit trees lately have had fruit rotting on them and fruit flies present.
Western Local Land Services performing tests to determine whether the species is the Queensland fruit fly, which is already found in parts of New South Wales, or whether the Mediterranean species has spread from interstate.
We would just like to check, as Mediterranean being present in New South Wales could be pretty detrimental to the fruit industry both here and in South Australia.
PIRSA is currently responding to 12 outbreaks of fruit fly in South Australia, 9 of those related to medfly in Adelaide. At this stage, no sightings have been recorded of that species in regional SA or Broken Hill.
If they do see fruit flies, it's best to call Local Land Services for some information on future control or disposal of fruit.
While Broken Hill isn't a fruit-growing region, our position near multiple highway crossroads and closeness to Menindee means any outbreak could be devastating. In a statement, PIRSA says it takes 0 chances when it comes to fruit fly, and it's confident they'll be able to eliminate the current outbreak. Any sightings in Broken Hill should be reported to the Exotic Plant Pest Hotline. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
An elderly couple have escaped serious injury after their car collided with a truck in Port Lincoln. Authorities were called to the smash on Mortlock Terrace just after midday, with reports a driver was trapped inside a car. A 92-year-old man and an 82-year-old woman were rushed to Port Lincoln Hospital with minor injuries. A new respite centre has officially opened in Port Pirie to give carers a much-needed break. It's the first of its kind for the city, with various disability service providers welcoming the facility.
A new centre set to help those who need it most. This facility will give local carers a well-earned rest.
And they can come into our home here for up to a 2-week period, and they can have a little holiday.
People registered on NDIS are eligible to stay, with the centre providing a range of activities for its guests.
Activities, they can do art and craft, we'll do planting and cooking and things like that. It just gives the carer an opportunity to refresh their buttons.
It's welcome news for a city in desperate need of extra support. Australian Bureau of Statistics reveal Port Pirie's disability rate is higher than the national average.
People requiring daily care, we're actually 69% above the national average. It's not only meeting the needs of the community, but it's stimulating economic development.
Elohim will manage the facility with local jobs also given a boost.
Being a new organisation to come into town, which is really nice, we've employed 20 locals, which is good, and as we grow we will employ more.
The RDA and Local Disability Support Services welcoming its opening, saying it will make a big difference.
The people who they're caring for to actually have some respite, and it's a win-win for community.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A 66-year-old Port Broughton man has been arrested and charged with a raft of drug offences. Patrols from across the region raided a property on Thursday afternoon, just after 3. Police uncovering multiple items, including 9 cannabis plants, methamphetamine, over $5,000 in cash and tasers. He was bailed and will appear in court at a later date. Our region schools are being encouraged to teach children about the importance of being sun smart. Reception students at Wyler's Samaritan Primary School today learning about how to protect themselves in the warmer weather.
rubbing sunscreen all over their faces, arms and legs before going out to play.
We are learning to slip, slop, flap.
Very natural thing that we have to do at schools now. It's almost sort of so natural that we have to make sure we do it deliberately, that not only new students that come in, it's 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, but the older students need reminding.
Wyalla's Samaritan Primary among the many schools across the region enforcing a no hat, no play policy, protecting the students from harmful UV radiation.
We have lots of options for students. They have to be wide brim hats as well, and sunscreen and the sanitizer are all available, and we make sure we do that before they go on breaks.
I put my hat and my sunscreen when I go and play.
It's a message the Cancer Council wants the country to hear. They say Australia has the world's highest rates of skin cancer, with melanoma the most common cancer amongst Australians aged 12 to 24 years. Schools and parents urged to teach children early on.
With kids heading back to school this week, Cancer Council South Australia is urging children and parents to pack sunscreen in their school bag and to slip, slop, slap, seek and slide.
And after today's Sun Smart lesson, these children now know what to pack in their school bags.
Hat, a sunscreen and water bottle.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a Port Lincoln man urging people to look out for heart attack symptoms, and an exclusion zone created around the Joy Baluch Bridge. Welcome back. The Far West Local Health District CEO has praised Broken Hill locals for coming forward and getting tested after an infected traveller visited the town earlier this month. In the first press conference for the year, Umit Aegis said almost 3,000 tests have been conducted since December 16.
Our plans, our search plans worked really well. We had no issues in terms of being able to staff all our clinics in a timely manner.
292 people were tested across the Far West last week. A Port Lincoln boxer is told of his survival from a massive heart attack. But just a week after the ordeal, Pete Williams is pulling his gloves back on and urging others to know the signs and symptoms.
Entering the ring for what would be the fight of his life.
It is scary because I mightn't have come home.
Boxing legend Pete Williams has faced off against some of the biggest names in the industry, but it's what happened last Friday which knocked him for 6.
I had a bit of a chest pain, so put it down, attributed to just hard training.
But it was something much worse which had been brewing inside for the past 5 years. With the pain persisting, he finally decided to go to hospital.
I told them I had chest pain. All of a sudden they put me on the graph and come back and said, "You've had a heart attack." And I said, "Well, 1 to 10, and they said, "You've had a major heart attack."
I was absolutely devastated. I just couldn't believe my super fit man was having a heart attack.
He was flown to Adelaide where he underwent emergency surgery but has since made a remarkable recovery, something his family is incredibly grateful for.
Just love him to pieces. Don't want to lose him. Never. Sorry.
Just 2 days after his operation, Pete's back in his gym and back in the arms of his loved ones, now using his emotional story to educate others.
Even if you have the slightest pain across the shoulders, down the arms, nausea, sweating and all that sort of stuff, just go to your doctors.
He's starting to return to himself and wants to do things, but I've got to knuckle down and just tell him he's just got to take it easy.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A marine exclusion zone has been put in place around Port Augusta's Joy Baluch Bridge. The zone will allow specialist machinery to begin piling works as the duplication project moves into a new stage. Katrina Musson has more.
As the Joy Baluch Bridge redevelopment reaches a major milestone in construction, community safety and convenience is being pushed to the forefront. With marine piling works well underway, an exclusion area has been sectioned off in nearby waters. Underwater vibrations and noise will be produced as steel piles are driven into the seabed, laying the foundation for the new bridge. No public access to the area is permitted for any activities including swimming, snorkelling, fishing or boating. Access to boat ramps and the east side and west side foreshores will not be impacted by the exclusion area. The zone is expected to be in place until the end of next year. Meanwhile, traffic barriers were installed along the Augusta Highway between Flinders Terrace and Burgoyne Street yesterday as night works get underway. Signage will be in place to alert motorists of changes in traffic conditions. It's hoped the works will help minimise impacts to traffic flow during the day. Road users are advised to take care when driving through the area. Night works will be undertaken between 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and are expected to be completed by Saturday, February 6.
Member for Barwon Roy Butler has slammed Water New South Wales, branding the language used by the state-owned body as industry jargon. Mr. Butler says river flow targets need to be easier to understand for the general public and clearer information released on whether targets are met. A spokesperson for the company said it held a number of community consultation sessions, including with local government, when recent restrictions were introduced. It says real-time water information is available through the Water Insights portal. Stay with us. We meet the Port Augusta journalists set to broadcast to the nation, and Bennett Oval all prepared for a historic sporting night. A young Port Augusta broadcaster is embarking on a new journey, producing content for First Nations media. The program teaching journalism and content creation techniques, with her mentor excited to watch her develop new skills.
From local radio to being a part of a peak media body, Siobhan McKenzie is one of 2 Amiwara media broadcasters to join a 6-week First Nations Media Community Reporters program.
I was really excited but a little bit nervous at the same time because it's something new that I'm getting involved in.
The program will help Aboriginal youth produce written, audio and visual content that will be shared across the country.
Basically, develop more skills in journalism and to get out in the community and interview people and develop more confidence and techniques.
Ami's senior broadcaster says she couldn't be prouder of her taking the next step in the media industry.
I was like, oh, that's awesome that they got that opportunity to do it, and hopefully they stick with it and everything because it's a good opportunity for them, especially as young people.
For now, Siobhan is getting stuck into online modules and sourcing story ideas. Samantha says she is looking forward to watching her progress.
She's a champion. They're having to carry that camera around and talking to people at the same time, and with that microphone. It's going to be interesting seeing their growth or something in this course.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Regional Development York Mid-North is seeking feedback from local hospitality workers. The survey focusing on demand for employees, skill requirements and training needs for employers. RDA staff hope it will assist in developing support measures,
so that we can determine what the needs are for the region, and then from that we can then just get a list of different training priorities.
More information can be found on their website. Broken Hill Small Business Association has almost tripled in size overnight, with 14 businesses and 18 community members joining at a meeting yesterday. The group focusing exclusively on businesses with an annual turnover of less than $1 million.
I think people are seeing now that the association is fit for purpose. We've got clear objectives, we've got a clear mission statement.
The association hopes to continue its growth by expanding to neighbouring towns like Silverton and Wilcannia in the near future. The very first Twilight cricket game at Wyler's Bennett Oval is set to be played tomorrow evening. The South Australian Cricket Association and City Council working together to ensure the Oval is in top form.
It's been named the T20 Twilight Spectacular. From 5 tomorrow evening, local cricket teams will play under the brand new lights at Bennett Oval.
It's the first time that the turf wicket will be used here at Bennett Oval, and also to have these lights on I think is going to be fantastic for the public. Wyler really should be proud that we've got these lights. They're the brightest lights outside of Adelaide Oval.
The wicket, a project 12 months in the making. Saka grounds manager Trent Kelly has been travelling to Whyalla, sharing his expertise in helping helping council prepare the ground for cricket matches.
Certainly really exciting for a regional city like Whyalla to have a ground that's fit for a high level of cricket, and also, as we saw last year, fit for AFL football.
The free event will act as the official opening for the upgraded facilities, with local T20 teams playing back-to-back cricket games.
The first game, which kicks off at 5:30, is North Whyalla and West Whyalla, and then the late game at 8 o'clock is Central Whyalla and Rapina.
Council also setting their sights on snaring high-profile matches.
The next step for us is looking at Women's Big Bash or Australian Under-21 or even state matches of Sheffield Shield being played here.
Locals wanting to attend must purchase a free ticket online. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Our fishing experts will give us their tips, and Alex will have the latest weather forecast. Hello again. Time to check what's biting for anglers in Spencer Gulf waters this weekend. Here's our fishing experts with their tips.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Crabs are starting to come on the bite a little bit now, getting a little bit bigger, but there are a lot of little ones around, so be sure to check the sizes on those. A few flathead over on those middle grounds. There's some good sized silver whiting over on the middle banks around the Flinders Channel area, on the low tides over there. Down in about 10 centimetres of water on these really calm days, you get a good feed of those. There are some salmon around in the creeks up around Port Patterson and also Chinaman's Creek. There's been a couple of kingfish getting sighted, none landed that I know of. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Welcome another week around the Gulf fishing tips from Port Pirie. It's amazing at this moment because what happens is the kids go back to school, the crabs get better. So February is usually our best time for crabbing in this particular area. So anything north of Roona Island at the moment, you should find yourself a good feed of crabs. If you go around to the Third Creek patches, Port Davis, all along the Gulf and sandbars around this area, you'll actually pick up a good feed of crabs at this particular time. That's all we've got for this week. We'll see you next week.
Hi, Whyallah's fishing tips this week. Land-based across Whyalla, down towards Cowlard's Landing and in front of the foreshore, some really good sized yellowfin whiting have been coming in. There's a few mullet and a few small salmon amongst those as well. Blue swimmer crabs are starting to move in well along the foreshore as well. Further around Whyalla, down towards the Point Lowly, Black Point area, there's some nice blue swimmer crabs down there. Out on the boats, some nice garfish coming in from most areas.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. Well, there's still quite a few small kingfish cruising around our local bay. Most of these fish are in that 50 to 70 centimetre size. There's also been a few snook in Proper Bay, and down on the south coast there's been a few salmon trout and a few larger salmon, but mainly around sunset and sunrise. Out in the Port Lincoln National Park there's been a few garfish and tommies caught off the rocks. That's all for Fishing Tips this week. We'll see you again with more tips next week.
And with a sneak peek at the weekend weather forecast, here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John. Some wet conditions across the region. From 3 p.m. today, it was 36 in Port Augusta, 34 in Port Pirie, and there was a late shower or two reaching 31 in Clare. Shower or two in Whyalla, 31, rain in Port Lincoln, 21, Broken Hill partly cloudy and got to 29, Kadina and Cleve both 27, Cooper Pedy was 31 and Adelaide reached 28. Taking a look at today's skies, extensive cloud crossing SA with a trough is generating rain, some heavy, and a few storms mainly over southern parts. Cloud building in the far north with another trough causing a few storms to develop. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. East to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 2 metres, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre. Showers and winds across most parts of the region. Port Lincoln partly cloudy 25, Cleve 26, Woodna 27. Whyalla, possible shower and windy 27 there. Port Augusta, possible shower and partly cloudy 31. Possible morning shower in Kadina 28 degrees. Port Pirie, possible morning shower 29 there. Shower or two in Clare and Broken Hill 27 and 32. Taking a look through the week now, similar conditions on Saturday. Partly cloudy in Cooper Pedy with the region's top of 33. 28 degrees in both Port Augusta and Woodna. Windy in Whyalla 26 degrees, sunny and 30 in Broken Hill. Clearing up on Sunday, 34 degrees in Cooper Pedy, sunny in Port Pirie and Port Augusta, both 31, 29 in Kadina and cloudy and 28 in Adelaide. And windy and cloudy conditions on Monday, 32 degrees in Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill, 27 degrees in Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Woodner, and 25 in both Whyalla and Adelaide. So it looks like some of us may need to break out the umbrella tomorrow, John, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.